Hi guys and girls. This is one of my happiest videos in my life. Something very beautiful happens past Saturday. Basically in a message talking about that the African American people do not have more than 9% of participation in cybersecurity field. I start thinking, okay, that's true, and why? And what can I do to change that? So I just put a message saying if somebody wants to learn, I can be your mentor if you want, and I can teach, no problem. I can put some minutes in my week to do this, and I'm going to love it. And one of the most beautiful things in my life was so many people answer. So many people, more than 30 people, 30 people, maybe more, immediately connect with me in my direct message, and they say, hey, can you be my mentor? Can you be my mentor? I want to learn. I love it. And yes, I'm going to be your mentor. So it's an honor, and that's why I'm publishing this video. Where to start in cybersecurity, because a lot of people ask me about this. So, well, let's see. In cybersecurity, you need some minimum requirements to start. I split in these requirements in areas. You need basic knowledge, then you need to know operating systems to work with, which operating systems you are going to use to work with. Depending if you are going to work in the blue teams or red teams. Blue teams are the people that protect infrastructure. They detect attacks, they detect different kind of incidents, they detect when somebody's wrong, when there is a malicious or nefarious guy trying to reach your network, trying to access your network. They detect that, and they execute all the countermeasures against that. Red team are the guys that detect the vulnerabilities, doing the same things that the malicious guys does, but the difference is that red team have permission of the infrastructure owner, so they are the good guys. Hacking is not a crime. It's very important. Malicious actors are criminals. Nefarious actors are criminals. Crackers are criminals. Hackers, no. Well, of course you can do malicious things with hacking, like any kind of weapon or any kind of knowledge. A weapon in the proper hands can save your life or your family or your kid's life, right? In the wrong hands, they can kill you and they can murder. So it depends about the hands having the tool. So operating systems to work with, but there are some operating systems, I don't care if you are blue team or red team, there are some operating systems that you can work with. Later in other videos, I'm going to be deeply in blue team, red team tools, etc. Tools, basic tools that you need to know. You need to manage and you need to master. A scripting language. I'm not saying here, and maybe this is going to be a debate. Some people say, if you want to be an ethical hacker, if you want to be a pen tester, you want to be in a blue team, you need to code, you need to develop. That's not true, at least not for me, but helps a lot. Helps a lot. Like something like to speak different language, okay? Do you need to speak English to be in the United States as a tourist? No. No, normally people can help you, and they are going to try to understand you, and you can use applications in your cell phone, so you can do it. But if you speak English, it's a plus, and your life is going to be easier. Same thing. If you know how to code, I don't saying that you are a full stack developer. No. Just understand how to code and how to read a code written by somebody else. That's useful, very useful, but it's not indispensable. And some additional abilities and attitude. To be honest, for me, Those are the most important part. But we put that at the end because I want to go deeply in the explanation. Okay, so let's start with the basic knowledge. Basic knowledge you need to have. Computing. You need to understand how a computer works. I'm not saying that you need to go deeply in a CPU and understand the registers, the counters, or no. I don't say that. I just say that you need to understand how a computer works. What is a bit? What is a byte? What is a word? Because it's easier if you know this. You are going to understand networking later. You are going to understand how the files are stored. That kind of things are important. You need basement. When you build a house, you need a solid foundation. If you try to reach cybersecurity, ethical hacking, or pen testing without the proper basement, you are going to have so many problems. It's going to be very difficult for you. You are going to struggle a lot. That's why you need to understand computing. You need to understand cloud. I'm not saying that you need an Amazon certification and an AWS certification. No, I'm just saying that you need to understand how clouds work, because the most of the companies right now are using cloud environments, VPS, virtual private systems, that kind of things. So you need to understand cloud. And you need to understand containers, Docker and similar, because a lot of companies are using microservices and containers because they are more efficient. So you need to understand what is that, the definitions, the specific words, right? At least understand. Later you're going to go deeply. Maybe you want to do containers penetration testing, or cloud penetration testing, or cloud protection, right? Cloud defense. So you need to understand. Well, operating systems. You need to understand the model, client-server model. We have different operating systems like Linux, like Microsoft Windows. So in both cases, there are clients and servers. Servers and workstations that can connect to those servers, right? To those servers. You have Windows Server operating systems, right? Windows 2019, etc., right? Windows 2016, and you have workstations, Windows 10, etc., that connects to those servers. You need to understand the client-server model, how it works, and you need to know operating systems, right? I'm not saying that you need to understand the entire architecture. That comes later, don't worry. But at least you need to know a clear concept about client-server model. Networking, this is critical. Critical. It's one of the most important knowledge that you need. You need to understand OC model. You need to understand TCP/IP model. You need to understand the different layers, and you need to understand the connection between TCP model layers and OC model layers and what is going on in each one of them. That's what we are going to talk the next Friday. So, networking. What is a network? What is a subnet? What is a supernet, a subnet, etc.? You need to understand that. What is a gateway? Which kind of IP you have in an internal network, in an external network, right? What is the local host? You need to understand that. Algorithms. Again, you don't need to be a developer, but you need to understand the logic of a code. It's better for you because sometimes you need to use a tool, normally a script can be, and you need to understand what the developers were thinking, why he or she creates that tool, and how you can modify that tool and take advantage of that tool. So at least to understand the logic is very useful. And web protocols. Because, you know, right now we are in a web era, and the most of the things are in the web or are using web protocols. So you need to understand HTTP, HTTPS. You need to understand what is an API, how an API connects to a service and consume that service, that kind of things. You need to understand that part. Web protocols is going to be very useful for you. If you want to be blue team or red team, doesn't matter. You need to understand that. Good. Now let's talk about operating systems. To develop your work and to start, you can use Linux. I prefer Linux, to be honest, because, well, different reasons. It's free. At least the most of them, most of the flavors are free. You can download them for free, totally free. You can, if you need virtual machines, virtualization, one of the important things. Virtualization, you need to understand virtualization. One of the tools you can use, OS Boxes. OS Boxes is a website that you can use to download any kind of virtual machine in Linux for free. They have Fedora, OpenSUSE, CentOS. All of the normal flavors of Linux are there. If you want to download big machines or test machines, you can go to OSBox and download anything you want, and they can use VirtualBox or VMware. VirtualBox is one virtualization tool. It's a hypervisor for your station, for your workstation. My recommendation is, if you have the possibility to use VMware, normally I try to use VMware because for me, in my experience, maybe somebody is going to say, no, you're crazy. Perfect, you're right, I'm crazy. But in my experience, I have better results with VMware when I need to use a lot of virtual machines turned on. In my trainings, when I teach you ethical hacking, in some moments we need to have 5, 6 turned on virtual machines because we have an external network, a firewall, switch, domain controller, workstation. You have a lot of things turned on at the same time. So with VirtualBox, that is great, it's free. Sometimes for me, I had issues. If you don't have money to pay for a VMware, you can use the free version of VMware that the name is VMware. I use VMware Workstation or VMware Fusion, but they have the free VMware hypervisor. It's called Player, the VMware Workstation Player. This is free. The backwards part here, the problem here is that you can't modify your virtual machines, right? That's the only one problem with this. But if you want, use VirtualBox. It's totally free. It's amazing. VirtualBox. VirtualBox, free, and you can use it in the way you want. Perfect. Well, good. So I use Linux because it's free, as I mentioned before. And one of the interesting things, normally I started in cybersecurity from 25 years ago. And I use the same Kali machine, but in that moment, the name was Backtrack. I don't remember if 25 years ago were Backtrack. I think so. I start with Caldera, with Red Hat, that kind of, and Unix, of course. But right now you can use Kali, free. It's a penetration testing distro. It's nice, I love it. It's the one I normally use. If you want to use a different distro, a different flavor, you can use Parrot OS or Ubuntu, as you wish. Normally all the tools can be installed in any of these platforms. There are some exceptions. Sometimes I need to use Ubuntu because for things like Bluetooth hacking, normally I need to use Ubuntu, to be honest. I didn't try yet the latest Kali version, but for Bluetooth I have some issues. But well, and of course you can hack and you can execute tests with Windows 10, Windows 11. But my recommendation for you is use virtual machines. Never work in your base operating system, because if you do something wrong, you are going to ruin your computer, and sometimes it's not so easy to repair, right? It's important that you know how to repair your operating system. It's very important. Again, we need to know computing. We need to understand operating systems. But with virtual machines, if something goes wrong, well, you just restore your virtual machine or just download again the virtual machine and you are ready to go. Good. Recommended tools. Doesn't matter if you are working in blue team or red team. Port scanners. You need to understand how a port scanner works. Okay, you know how TCP/IP protocol works. That's one of the things we are going to talk Friday. But you need to understand how the malicious actors can detect your open ports and how you, from the blue team side or the red team side, can detect your open ports that are going to be used by the nefarious actor, you know? Sniffers, you need to understand traffic, and you need to capture the traffic and analyze that traffic. Sniffers helps you to capture the traffic in a specific interface, and you can analyze it in an easy way. Tunneling. This is a thing that normally nefarious actors does. So you need to understand how a tunnel can be created. There are different tools like Netcat, Socat, KipCat, SSH. In DEF CON I have an amazing training, an amazing workshop talking about tunneling. And it's very important because normally nefarious actors are going to do that against your infrastructure or the infrastructure you are going to protect. And if you are in the red team, you need tunneling to try to bypass the countermeasures that the infrastructure people, the IT guys, put in place. Fusing. You need to understand fusing. Fusing can be executed in a lot of different areas. Normally people think that fusing is oriented to web, to try to detect subdirectories, that kind of things. Normally there are tools that allow you to try to detect subdirectories, by instance. And fusing means that you are going to try a lot of different values against a specific parameter or variable. So there are different tools. One of them, or one of my favorites, WFUZZ, WFUZ. So when you want to know the subdirectories in a specific website, you can use WFUZ. You see? So we can put something like this. Let's use one of my websites. Can be www or not www secpro.llc. Let's see. So you can use a tool like WFUZ to send a different test against a specific word after this URL. So this tool is going to try https secpro.llc/something, and that something is the result of this file, the content of this file. If you take a look about this file, let's say that I want to take a look about the content with a cat. Well, look, this tool is going to try each one of these words at the end of this URL. That's what we are doing. That's WFUZ, right? You see? So it's trying each one of them. So we can detect subdirectories in that website. That's what this tool does. There are fusing to detect buffer overflow or another vulnerabilities, but that's another thing. But fusing, right now I'm talking about fusing the concept and the tool like WFUZ. That is very useful when you are doing a bug bounty or you are doing a recon, etc. Well, it's very useful, WFUZ. Well, interception proxies. This is very important because if you are going to execute penetration testing or you are in the blue team and you need to know how your website behaves, you need to use an interception proxy. So what is an interception proxy? It's a machine that allows you to see what is going on between the client and the server, the web client and the web server. So you can see what is inside the traffic between each other. It's very useful. So you can use Borp, you can use WhatsApp. There is a lot. WebSCARA, very old school, but I love it. In some moment, in one of the mentorship sessions, I'm going to talk about this. So Burp, subproxy are good. Password cracking. You need to understand how malicious actors can try to crack your passwords. It's impossible to defend something if you don't know how this something is going to be attacked. You know? So you need to understand how the malicious actors behaves. That's important. Vulnerability assessment tools like OpenBAS. This is free, open source. I love open source. Open source means software created with some specific license. There are different open source licenses. You can take a look about that. You can look for open source license. That is very important. Open source license. So you can see the different open source license that you can use. There are GNU, Apache, there are a lot. But normally that kind of software can be used for free. Some of the licenses say you can use it, but if you are a company, you need to pay. But if you are in your house and you don't have commercial purposes, or you are not going to receive money with my tool, you can use it. Go ahead, no problem. It depends about the license. Before to use an open source tool in a commercial environment, you need to understand the license of the tool you are going to use. So you need to keep this legal, right? You need to keep this clean. You need to keep yourself in the light side or in the bright side of the force. Okay, a lot more of tools, but well, some of them. In our sessions, in our mentorship sessions, we are going to talk about a lot of them. Well, scripting language. Again, is not indispensable or is not a must be that you know how to code, but it helps a lot. So my recommendation is you can start with a simple language. You can start with Bash, but I prefer to start in Python. And the most probably thing is that I'm going to publish some of my Python videos. I already started, but in Spanish. Sorry, but I'm going to translate my videos. And in our sessions, the most probably thing is that we are going to work with Python. I love Python, Python 3. It's, for me, one of the best language ever. So you can at least understand Python, or at least understand Bash, because it allows you to automate. You can create your small scripts, and the boring things, there is a beautiful tool called automating the boring stuff. I think it's a nice book. I recommend that. Automating boring with Python, something like that. It's an amazing book. Look, automate the boring stuff with Python. Beautiful book, totally recommended. Hilary Mason and Will Wheaton wrote that one, right? So, no, they don't wrote that one. They are providing feedback. But, well, who's the author of this one? Let's see if I can see better. Al Swigart. Well, I bought that book. It's very good. It's very good. So, totally recommended. And, well, we are going to learn Python. So, don't worry about it. Well, this is the most important part. Abilities and attitude. You need some specific abilities and attitude. First one, patience. Don't be desperate. It's impossible to you to know everything you need in 2 days, in 1 week, in 1 month. No. I am studying during 25 years in my life, and I keep on going. Day by day, I need to study, at least 2 hours a day, normally. In the mornings, in the early morning, I study. It's my time. And you need to be patient, but you need persistence. Because, again, you can't learn everything at the same time. We are not like Matrix. I love it. In the moment that we can inject the knowledge in the brain, I'm going to be the first one in the line as an experimentation subject. But not yet. So you need persistence. Because some days you are going to say, man, I already have 6 months in this and I feel that I don't know nothing. Okay, guys and girls, I have 25 years on this and I feel that I don't know nothing. So it's not only you. It happens to me, it happens to all the guys and girls that already have a lot of experience in cybersecurity. Persistence is key. Endless desire to learn. You need to have learning appetite. You need to love what you are doing. If you don't love cybersecurity, you are going to struggle a lot. You need to love this. Cybersecurity is a way of life. And cybersecurity is the beautiful thing that I love with my heart, with my soul, that allow me to put food in my table and food in the table of 15 of my employees, my collaborators in a direct way, and more than 10 external people that work with us in different projects. So we are more or less 25 people doing cybersecurity, and this beautiful thing allows us to have a bread in our table, and I love it. That's why I love to teach, because I realize that if I teach this, maybe, I have the dream that maybe that helps you to put food in your table. So that's the idea. And sacrifice. This is not easy. Again, this is not one day thing. No. This requires sacrifice. I am still doing this, and again, 2 hours a day learning, and every day is learning. But if you love what you do, you never work, and you are going to enjoy. If you do not enjoy to learning, if you do not enjoy having new experiences, etc., cybersecurity is not for you. If you want a field that you just need to study 1, 2, 3 years or 4 years, and that's it, and you are ready to roll, and you never need to study again, well, cybersecurity is not your career, not at all. And in the persistence area, guys and girls, I want to be your mentor, but I require commitment. I'm going to leave tasks for you in my Twitter in a weekly basis. I'm going to spend time from my life to be with you in these sessions, to train you, to teach, etc. But you need to put a little from you. Some people told me about my YouTube channel. Oh, it's in Spanish. So, use subtitles. Do you think that Spanish is my first language? I was born in Colombia. My country is Colombia. We speak Spanish. Of course, the most advanced books, the most interesting content is not in Spanish, unfortunately. So I need to learn English. My English is not perfect, of course. Maybe I am the worst English-speaking person in the world, probably. But at least I can learn, I can read in English. So, if that my YouTube channel videos are in Spanish is a barrier for you, look for somebody else. Look for something else to do. Because that shouldn't be an obstacle for you. Because YouTube provides subtitles so you can see. And you can see in my channel everything about what I'm doing. Just mute me and read the subtitles and follow my lead. That's it. I'm going to put a lot of videos in English. I'm translating them. I'm trying to automate this because, guys and girls, I already tried to record my voice over the previous videos. Oh, it's so difficult. It's terrible. So, no. I'm going to automate this. I found a Poly tool from Amazon, crazy one. So I'm going to do this in an automated way. Well, so sacrifice. Just last piece of advice. You, and only you, are the architect of your own destiny. A lot of people normally is going to tell you, no, that is so difficult, don't even try. You can't. You are not enough, you are not capable, you are not smart enough. Don't listen to that. Never. Because of the most of the people normally lives with fear. and they want to transmit that fear to you. If somebody see sometimes that you say, I don't want to be doing something or that I don't love, or I want to be the best in something, I want to learn a new field, I want to make a change of career. Guys and girls, two of my best pen testers, they didn't start in cybersecurity. No, one of them, my favorite girl, she starts in the pharmaceuticals area or field. And the other guy, it's a lawyer. It's a lawyer. And they are amazing pen testers, crazy good pen testers. So you do not be, you shouldn't be afraid about a career change. No, you can. And only you decide if you are capable or not to do something. Do not allow nobody never than tell you or convince you that you can't do something. Never. Because normally people is going to tell you, you can't, you are not good enough, etc., etc., etc. People loves to see they fail in other people because they feel the same for them. And they don't want sometimes that somebody raise and somebody grow. Don't allow them to convince you that you can't. Just hear your internal voice, your inner voice, that it's going to tell you or it's telling you, you can. Let's do this, girl, you can. Hey, Robert, Peter, I don't know. You can, you can. Listen that voice. That's the good one. The voice that can convince you that you can. You can do anything you want. Just believe. That's it. Nothing else. That's what you need. Guys, girls, I hope this video can be a little useful for you. And well, always believe. Always believe. Thank you so much for your time. See you in this session.